Hello, second graders. This is Mrs. Miller here with Lesson 6 of Social Studies on rules and laws, home and community. What are some rules in your home? See if you can name 3 rules across your fingers. Ready, set, go. All right, I wonder if we have any of the same rules. One of my rules is to always use kind words. Another rule in my house is to clean up after yourself. And then a third rule that I have, which is kind of goes along with cleaning up after yourself, is being safe. Specifically, we have a stool in our house that sometimes it gets left out and then people might trip over it. So my husband actually, one time I left it out and my husband tripped over it. So now we have a rule to always put the stool away so that nobody trips. Who makes the rules in your home? Do your parents make the rules? Do they ask you for your input on rules? Do they ask for you to give them some ideas for rules that would be good home rules? Now, what is a law? Have you ever heard that word before? Maybe you heard somebody say, "Don't break the law," or "It's the law." What does that mean? Whisper into your hand what you think law means. What do you think that word law means? Okay, eyes on me. Well, we have a video here called Community Rules and Laws, and we're going to watch it to learn about what laws are. After the video is over, we'll talk about it. So I want you to use your very best listening ears and listen and look carefully so that you can learn all about rules and laws.
People everywhere follow rules. It doesn't matter whether you live in a big city or a small town. It's important for everyone to follow rules. No matter where you go or what you do, there are rules you have to obey. At home, parents make rules for everyone in the family to follow. In my house, you have to finish your homework before you can go outside and play. That's the rule. The rule in my house is, on school nights, everyone has to be in bed by 8:30. In my family, everyone takes turns throwing out the garbage. Tonight is my turn. Schools have rules too. In our school, you can only talk when you're given permission. That's the rule. A rule in our school is walk quietly through the hallways. No running. That's the rule. In my school, we have to make sure we put our papers and books away before we can go to lunch or recess. That's the rule. So, families have rules, schools have rules, and communities have rules too. In my town, there's a rule that you must wear a helmet every time you ride your bike. Where I live, you have to wear a seatbelt every time you ride in a car. In my community, when you take your dog for a walk, you have to make sure he's on a leash. That's the rule.
You're probably wondering, why do we have so many rules and why do we have to obey them?
Well, think about this. Why should you follow the rule, don't play with matches? Because when you play with matches, you can cause a fire.
You can burn down your house, hurt yourself, and other people too.
And what happens when people don't obey traffic rules? Well, they can cause a traffic accident. Cars can get damaged and people can get hurt.
Rules are very important, and it's important for everyone to follow rules.
Rules in a community have a special name. They're called laws.
All right, so now we have learned a little bit already about what laws are. Laws are rules in a community. Let's listen to learn more.
Laws are rules that everyone must obey.
Sometimes the laws of a community are put on signs.
When people read the signs, they know what they have to do to obey the laws. Laws are very important to everyone in the community.
Laws help people to know what to do. For example, a speed limit sign lets people know how fast they can travel on a road or a highway.
And a parking sign lets people know it's against the law to park in a certain area.
And a stop sign, of course, tells people they have to stop. There are some laws to keep us healthy.
Laws that prevent smoking in public buildings help keep the air clean for everyone to breathe.
Laws are also made to help keep us safe. For example, drivers must stop when the red lights on a school bus begin to flash. This law makes it safe for kids to get on and off the bus safely.
There are also laws to protect our environment. You know, our air, land, and water. Like laws that prevent people from littering our parks and sidewalks. Or laws that punish people from throwing trash on our roads and highways.
Some communities have laws that require car owners to test the emission levels of their car's engine. This law helps to keep the air in the community cleaner.
Some laws help to protect property.
For example, it's against the law to paint or draw on buildings or other public property. The person who painted this broke the law.
Some laws are the same in every community in the United States. For example, no matter where you travel in the United States, a red traffic light means cars and trucks have to stop.
Different communities can have different laws too.
Who makes the laws for the community? It's called the government.
A government is a group of people who make laws.
They also make sure that laws are obeyed by everyone in the community.
Government also provides many services for the community.
So did you hear who makes the rules for a community? Call it out in 3, 2, 1. The government. That's right. The government makes laws for its community to follow. Let's learn more.
Community governments provide fire and police protection.
They also fix roads and maintain parks.
The community government runs the schools too.
Some people in the community government work in a special building called the city or town hall.
Not all community governments are the same.
In some small communities, people go to a town meeting.
At the meeting, they may talk about problems the community is having and what laws they can make to solve the problem.
At the meeting, everyone gets to vote on what to do.
Vote means to tell what your choice is.
Make an appropriation in the amount of $120,768.
Some larger communities have government leaders who they elect to make decisions for everyone in the community.
Elect means that the citizens of the community vote or choose to represent them in the government.
People who want to be government leaders are called candidates.
Before the election, candidates go out into the community to tell people why they want to be a government leader.
Citizens vote for the candidate they want. On special election days, citizens go to vote.
Most communities set up voting machines in schools or other public buildings.
People in the community go to the voting machines to cast their vote.
You have to be at least 18 years old and a citizen of the United States to vote in an election.
Once inside the voting booth, voters get to choose the candidate or candidates they want to be their government leaders.
The candidate with the most votes wins the election. Some communities have a mayor. A mayor is a government leader who helps to make laws.
Many towns also have a city or town council. This is a group of men and women who make laws and plans for the community.
How do government leaders know what kinds of laws are needed in the community?
Well, citizens of the community can write their town leaders.
Or they can call them on the phone or attend town meetings. Government leaders listen to different ideas and suggestions people have to make the community safer or better.
Then, government leaders make laws that everyone in the community must obey.
Without the turn lanes, if the first car is turning left and he doesn't go or she doesn't go properly, that whole lane is going to get stuck behind him because there are no turn lanes. Whereas
my town just passed a new law. It says that you can't ride skateboards on the street anymore. They made that law after a couple of people got hurt riding their skateboards on the street, but you can still ride them in the park. How does the community make sure everyone follows the laws?
Well, they hire policemen and women to make sure of that. Police protect people from other people with the laws.
When it's a law, they're punished.
So they have to pay money.
The pay is called a fine.
If a person breaks a serious law, he or she may have to see a judge.
A judge works in a place called a court. A court and judges are part of the government.
It's the judge's job to decide if the person broke the law and what the punishment should be.
Sometimes the judge may decide the punishment is a fine.
But sometimes if the law they broke is very, very serious, they might have to go to jail.
As you can see, following the laws of a community are very important.
Laws help to keep people and property safe. There are also laws that help to protect the environment. These laws make sure that people keep the environment clean and safe for people and animals too. Laws help people to know what to do and what not to do. Laws protect us and keep us safe.
And it's our job as good citizens to obey all the rules.
When you obey the rules, you're helping your family, your school, and your community.
Laws help make the world a nicer place to live.
So what is a law? Well, as we learned in this video, a law is a rule made by government. But does the government make laws all on their own? How do they know which laws to make? Could you please turn and tell the person next to you what you learned in this video about how government knows which rules to make? Ready, set, turn and talk. One, two, three, eyes up here. So, in this video, we learned that government decides which rules to make based on what their citizens tell them. Citizens might write letters, they might go to town hall, they might call their government offices to tell them about problems in their communities and new laws that might need to be made. Okay, now I want you to connect to your own life. You're going to answer two questions. What are some rules that you have at home? We've already talked about this question. And then what are some laws that you must follow in your community? Can you think of laws in your community that you or your family must follow? See if you could name 3 across your fingers. Go ahead and do that right now. Name 3 laws that must be followed. Stop, look, and listen. Let's see if you came up with any of the same ideas that I was thinking. I was thinking one law that I know we must all follow is to stop at stop signs and to stop at traffic lights. Another law I was thinking of is that we are not allowed to litter. We must clean up our garbage and never leave our garbage on the ground. Another law that we must follow is to never take things that don't belong to us. That is called stealing. I bet you came up with even more laws. Now, if you're learning from home, you will find this sheet in your Google Classroom. You can either write directly into this sheet on your computer, or you could print it up and write using a pen or pencil. If you are in school, your teacher will give you a copy of this sheet to complete. You'll write down some rules that you have at home and some laws that you must follow in your community. Thank you for joining me for Social Studies today. Have a great day, everybody.